hope everyone is doing well on this fine Friday. We are here again on this episode 3 that we are dedicating to suicide awareness and just overall talking about mental health. And I'm very pleased to have my new friend, Jeff Whitespeare, join me today. He is a realtor in the Texas markets. And I say markets, yes, that is plural because he is doing some big stuff over there. And I'm so glad that you joined us. I actually have not met you in person, but he happened to share his story and a little bit of his journey, and also like things that he's doing in the real estate world that's been successful when we had our last conference at Build 22 and outside of the Dallas area. And I literally, you were like not quite done, and I was already like stalking you online. Like, I have got to talk to him.
All right.
So, and then I even sent Veronica a quick text message and was like, if you need to hook me up, you're backstage, like hook me up, like I got to talk to him. So again, thanks so much for joining us today. With this particular interviews that I'm doing, it's very laid back, very conversational. And honestly, I'm bringing you these wonderful people who have decided to take the time to share their story, to help others, maybe to help see signs or just to help someone through a situation that's very similar. So Jeff, I'm going to let you kind of take it from here. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and your background would be great.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. That was a big deal for me, sharing my story, especially on a stage like that. So, and having so many people come up to me and just feel not obligated, but feel open enough to even share a little piece of their story was a big deal. And like I said, I've been praying about it and how to, get this stuff off of my chest and out of my mind. And, here we are doing this Zoom. So amen. But a little bit about me. I grew up in California, Sacramento. I was only there 5 years. Mom went to prison again. So we actually were forced to move to East Texas and live with my grandmother for forever, basically, after that. And I have 2 brothers and a sister that are, my close knit family. My dad was kind of a crazy man. So I have about 12 or 14 half brothers and sisters out there.
Oh,
but awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I get random friend requests from brothers, which is pretty cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice thing. But a little bit about me. I went to high school, obviously, and I wanted to be a real estate agent. I knew I wanted to be a real estate agent in high school. So I went to, Dallas and to go to school to study business, just to create a business in real estate, not just kind of get into real estate, but create something. So I did that. I started at Keller Williams for 8 years, and I was there for a long time and loved it. And I found EXP about 6 years ago, which is a big deal. And now I have a team. My main team is in Houston. Me and my wife, we have a husband-wife team in Houston. And we have teams in Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, and Corpus Christi as well. So that's kind of what we're doing now. And, if you want to talk about some of the stuff that's happened to my mom recently, I want to share this. I don't have anything prepared or anything, but I want to kind of be as transparent as possible. That hopes to, help other people. So,
well, you said she was incarcerated when you were 5.
Yeah, she was incarcerated back and forth. She was addicted to methamphetamine. She had a real big addiction problem. It kind of runs in our family. Her dad was addicted to alcohol, and he passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. And, my dad was addicted to all kinds of different things. Just so super addictive personalities. But when I was 5, she went to prison again because not only was she addicted to it, she built a business around it, good and bad. If that was like, she sold it and she made it and sold it mass and stuff like that. So obviously that catches up with you. So she went to prison when I was 5 again. So that forced us to move to Texas.
Well, and I really think that drug addiction in itself is also it's a mental health. I mean, it's a mental health issue from the beginning that evolves into this, that evolves into that. And next week, I'm going to share my story, but my sister-in-law she very similar. I mean, like it just rolls from one thing to the next. And, I'm thankful, and I thank God every day that she's clean and sober and out and doing very well. But, I think that it's a mental health as a basis. Like there's stuff that's going on, and it can be generational. Like if her father was an addict, what did she take on for her to learn that behavior, and to what was she suppressing and not letting go of that drove her to that?
Yeah,
Which I don't know if you know any of that, but
yeah, I don't know, but that's a big part of my why is to break that generational curse, to be honest with you, because I didn't know my great grandpa, but I assume that I don't know what happened there, but now it was my grandpa and then my mom. And to say that I don't have mental health problems is a lie, right? I have mental health problems. I've never gotten to that far. I never had those thoughts, thankfully. But turn to God a lot of times in my life, which is a huge thing for me. But a little bit more about my mom. The later years, off and on, drugs, getting busted, going to prison, getting out, doing this, doing that. Every person that was around in our house was another drug addict kind of thing. So kind of got myself away from that by moving in and staying, actually living with my grandma and kind of off and on with my mom.
yeah.
It's fun to stay at my mom's house because it's like a party. But then, that stuff would start coming up again. So I'd go back to the structure of my grandmother where you got to be up, you got to go to church, got to do your chores, all that kind of stuff. But so her latest time of her going to prison was, I would say about 9 years ago. And she was sentenced to about 3 years in prison. And to be honest, that's the best thing that ever happened to her because she came out, she was clean.
Yeah.
And for the first time that I can probably ever, I hung out with my mom at 32 and she was clean and sober. And I was like, whoa, this is different. Like I would, just an example, like I would accidentally cuss around her. She's like, don't you cuss in front of your mother. And I was like, really? When did that change? Like, so not only did she get clean and sober in prison, she also found God as well and got a new connection with him and did all that kind of stuff as well. So the last 4 years of her life was nice, I thought, right? You would assume, because I moved her into Houston. She got into one of my rentals. I bought her a car, trying to do everything to make her happy and, not successful, but, being okay. But obviously she still had the demons and everything with her. I don't know if I didn't share this with you guys, but, I lost my brother at 16. And obviously that means she lost a son, right? So I don't think that she ever got over that. And she would even say, today's just a tough day. I'm really thinking about Tim kind of thing. And I just, even 20 years later, she still had those days. So she was definitely struggling. So I found myself trying to fix that stuff. I would make sure that when we go on vacations, I would invite her. And when we go on, Thanksgiving, I'd make her a part of it. But, I felt like I thought that, she's happy go lucky kind of thing. And now she's clean and sober and she's in her own place and it's got a car and we're going to church. And I mean, she could have had anything she wanted if she asked me for it kind of thing. But February 22nd, 2022, I got a call. I was on the golf course and they're like, hey, your mom's unresponsive kind of thing. And I was like, oh no, what now kind of thing. So I figured, I'd get over there and they wake her up and, maybe she did an overdose or who knows, right? But no, it was too far, too late, too gone. So she lost the battle with that addiction for sure. So I assumed it was natural because I thought she was happy and stuff. But after we got the toxicology report, there's so much stuff in her stomach, like it was obviously not. So, but that was just really 6-7 months ago for me. So it's kind of
that's pretty recent.
It's recent for me, but I feel like the more I talk about it, the more it helps me, and then definitely helps hopefully some other people too. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think something you said that was like the fact that you were trying to help her so much that, I think that as a society and you're obviously a giving person and I'm a very similar person. And so when somebody's hurting, I will try to fix it.
Right.
And I think, and I mentioned to you before, anytime that something happens that is, someone loses their life via suicide, I think so often we're like, what could I have done or
Yep.
said or anything to have a different outcome? And I just want to encourage you to give yourself the grace that was something she's been battling for years,
Oh yeah.
even before you were probably born.
Right.
So, you can only love, while they're here, and do the best by them while you can. Um, and as far like for you, like you lost your mom multiple times.
Right.
I mean, truly, this was a finality for you. But
Right.
do you have any little words of wisdom for anyone that's maybe going through a certain situation that might be similar, whether they have like a sibling or a parent that's going through mental health and having a drug issue? Like, is there anything looking back that you can say, hey, this worked or didn't work?
Yeah, I think just, being there for somebody, regardless of what you're saying, even just being in the same room makes them feel better.
Mm-hmm.
She would always ask, you're going on vacation, can I come? I'm like, of course you can. And then, your wife would be like, why is your mom here again? Like all that kind of stuff. But, there's even sometimes where she wanted to go to lunch and I was like, okay, something must be on her mind. She didn't have much to say. She just wanted me to be there at lunch. So, don't think about, not being around that person because you don't have the right words to say. Just simply being in front of them. I think, looking back, yeah, you can pull some regrets and start twisting stuff around. But if you truly believe that, God is in control, you just have to, it's tough. Got to swallow that. Right.
Yeah.
And just keep pushing forward kind of thing. And
Yeah.
just is what it is. I mean, for me, it was, I hate to say this, it's almost a relief because she was in so much pain. She had medicine to make her go to the bathroom and medicine to stop going to the bathroom. She had shots, she
Yeah.
had rheumatoid, like she's completely depleted her body. Her mind was going. I remember one time she was coming to my house and she was 45 minutes away. And I was like, what are you doing? Are you not, I live 5 minutes from you. You've been here 20 times. And she's like, I'm going to it. Like she was kind of losing her mind. So trying to find the good in that situation. Well, in any situation, the good part is she didn't have a long struggle with dementia or all that stuff
Yeah.
that was going with her for sure. And she was in that time, and like I said, she was planning it. Like now looking back, my birthday present was wrapped because I was on my 36th birthday was on the 27th. Now looking back, she had earrings on, she had a dress on, she had the shoes on. The house was perfection. It was so clean and spotless. Like there's nothing I could have done or said, she was going to do that regardless. So, like I said, the biggest things, just being there for somebody and then trying to find the good in it. Right?
Yeah.
There's got to be good in it. And if you don't see it now, you will see it. Just start trying to think about that, all the good things that, not that come of that, but, what could come of that kind of thing.
Yep. It's been a common theme with my other interviews is that there's two things you can give to people, and that is your time, and that is to be there to listen, because we all want to be heard. We all want to be loved. And so if you do find someone that is, struggling, to give your time to them, just allow them to be in the same space. And just like this, like, I appreciate your time. I know that your story and your time is a gift. It is a gift to other people. And I, I told my kids the other day, time is the one thing that we have that we give away that we never get back. Like we don't get it back. So it's very precious and it's very important.
Right.
So I can see that, like, your mom was just your time. That's all. Just your presence.
Yeah, no, that's big. Looking back, it's easy to see that now. Like she'd want to go to dinner or lunch, and I would assume something's on her mind. She wouldn't say much, so I'm like, oh, I guess she just wants to hang out with me, which is fine, right? So,
She thinks you're a pretty cool dude.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I agree.
Well, I mean, I'm glad though that you got to feel the mother's love. Not consistent. You didn't have it. You weren't raised in a normal standard way, but I'm grateful that you had grandparents that were able to step in. And
Yeah,
I mean, how great is that for you? And that at some point in time you were able to see your mom in a different light, and that's a beautiful blessing for you.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, just as we wrap this up, I just want to remind everyone that if you know of anyone that is, you're thinking maybe feel suicidal or you're not real sure, ask the hard questions. Like take the time and really ask the questions. Like I've come straight up and said, like, do you feel like harming yourself? Do you feel like, I mean, just ask it.
Right.
And just come from love. And if you yourself are feeling like you don't want to live any longer, our suicide hotline has changed to such an easy number now, which is 988. It's no longer 1-800-SUICIDE, I think is what it was. Now it's just 988, just so it's a little easier. So that's a lot easier to remember than dialing all those numbers, right? So, Jeff, I just want to say thanks so much. Is there anything else you want to leave with us today?
No, just I know men take it as a sign of weakness to share their feelings and stuff like that. I just ask, don't.
Yeah.
Don't think that's weak at all. That's such a strong thing to do for a man, regardless of their position, like to share, what's bothering them kind of thing. So I've been blessed to be a part of a men's group for the last 4 or 5 months, and it's could not be better timing in my life. So, especially not to say, I mean, everyone struggles, but men, I think for me, I can relate. You think you're the man, and it's balled up, and you'll be fine. I'm the man of the house. Talk to people about that. So.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. Everyone, enjoy your day, and next week will be one more. So we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks.